September 9th, 2008. My name is Dennis Richard. I'm here speaking with James Sloan. We're talking about different types of alternative health. I've heard him speak many times. He's a master herbalist and one of the most knowledgeable people I've ever heard talk on all forms of health. Every time it's exciting to me what I can learn. He's a very good speaker, one of the most knowledgeable people I've ever listened to. And we're coming to you from Henderson, Nevada. And James, give us some background on yourself, please.
I started working in medicine when I was 14 years old, and I spent 13 years working mainstream medicine, hospitals, ambulances, doctor's offices, private duty cases, and so on. I've worked as an EMT, lab tech, phlebotomist, EKG tech, CNA, MA, or assistant. So I have quite an extensive background in mainstream medicine. I just finally got fed up with it after about 13 years working mainstream medicine. I found that they weren't there to really help people with trying to cure their diseases. The primary idea was to keep them comfortable but sick to make more money. And I just saw a lot of corruption and stuff that I didn't agree with in mainstream medicine, so I left. Got into the alternative medical field, which I found worked a lot better, a lot safer, and I just felt a lot better about it. So I've been working in alternative medicines now for about 18 years, including herbology, radiofrequency therapy, Reiki, quantum touch, ozone therapy, and multiple other therapies.
Okay, that's pretty impressive. And we're here today to talk about something that's very exciting to me because I believe all health starts with cleansing, detoxing. I've been able to do that myself. When I retired from the fire department in 1991, I felt 90 years old. Right now, I don't remember feeling this good when I was 20. And so detoxing is something that, to me, is where health starts. And so we're going to talk about the Optimum Detox. And this is a product that I've been using now for the last several months and getting fantastic results. And so it's time for me to start understanding why. I just can't get over what the benefits I received, but I'd like to hear you explain it so for myself and anyone else listening.
Okay. Yeah, Optimum Detox is actually a proprietary formula of a yucca extract. Unlike most of the yucca extracts out there, which are a 1-to-1 extract, this is actually a concentrate, so you use a lot less than you would with a normal type of extract of the yucca. Another thing to keep in mind is that this does not contain any preservatives. A lot of the compounds out there contain sodium benzenate as a preservative, which is actually considered a carcinogen. Optimum Detox does not contain any preservatives, and like I said, it is a concentrated form of the Yucca shadagra. Now, Yucca shadagra it's a common plant out in our deserts around here. There's various species of yucca, very few of them having medicinal properties. The Yucca shadagra is actually used not only in medicine. I want to point out it's also used in food, because a lot of people bring up about, well, is it safe and so on. Apparently it's safe enough that the government allows us to use it in foods. Like anybody who's drinking root beer before will find that they've actually ingested Yucca shadagra before, because the foaming head you get on a root beer, that's actually the Yucca shadagra that does that. Now, the component that gives it that foaming head are the saponins that are found in the yucca. Yucca is basically a soap molecule, in short. They're produced in various plants, again, yucca having the highest concentration of these saponins. These saponins have various beneficial effects on the body. One of the primary effects is going to be in the intestinal flora. Now, the saponins are not absorbed through the gut wall. Instead, their action, again, is in the intestines, where they hold moisture, make a more beneficial environment for the growth of the intestinal flora. And as being a soap molecule, they also help to cleanse out the colon, in particular the diverticuli, which is really important for people with diverticulitis, which is basically where the little pouches on the intestine get expanded out. They can catch bacteria, they catch little bits of seeds and stuff like that. Quite a painful condition. The saponins, being a soap molecule, will help to clean out that reticuli, and also because they have a steroidal component to them, they can reduce the inflammation. So I find it very, very beneficial in that area. Going back to the intestinal flora real quick, the main goal here is to build up the intestinal flora. Now, your intestinal flora serve a multitude of purposes for the body. One, they are the primary component of your immune system. About 80% of your immune system resides in the intestinal flora. Your intestinal flora produce what's called cytokines, which are like interferons, interleukins that help to modulate and boost the immune response. They also form peroxides. Now, peroxides don't only directly kill pathogens, they're also required for the activation of your white blood cells in the body. Now, your pathogens, again, have to feed just like any other cell. What the intestinal flora, another benefit here, is that they will compete for food and space with these pathogenic bacteria, help control their growth inside the gut. Another area that a lot of people don't realize with intestinal flora is that they produce the body's serotonin. The majority of the serotonin generated in the body is generated by the intestinal flora, not by the brain. Most people associate serotonin with the brain, and that's why people assume that the brain is actually the source of the serotonin. But the majority of serotonin is actually generated by the intestinal flora because we have 18 different serotonin receptors in the body, so they do many different things in the body, not just controlling a mood, controlling of appetite, also controls things like blood pressure. So we have the serotonin being generated by the intestinal flora, also vitamins. Vitamin K and your B vitamins for your body are actually generated by the intestinal flora. So that's one of the main areas where you'll find with the Optimum Detox where it's really beneficial to the body. But there are other components outside the saponins which have other properties that we want to discuss. Second area I really want to discuss, and very, very important, are called sterols. Now, sterols are basically plant steroids, and they help the plants to adapt to various stresses, high heat, severe cold, drought situations, insect attack, and so on. These sterols help these plants to adapt to these various stresses, and they actually work in our body in a similar manner. The sterols are used by our adrenal glands, which are little glands sitting on top of our kidneys. Now, the adrenal glands regulate a ton of different things for the body. They'll generate our estrogen, progesterone, testosterone. They regulate our stress responses. They regulate inflammatory responses. They regulate the immune responses, blood sugar levels, and so on. These are all the things that the adrenal glands play a role in. So we want to maintain our adrenal glands. Well, the sterols act as precursors for the formation of our various adrenal hormones. So we'll find that as you build up your adrenal glands, I've heard people report in the different testimonials that they've noticed balancing of the hormones because your adrenal glands again produce estrogen, progesterone, testosterone. They report decreased levels of allergies. That's due to increased levels of epinephrine produced by the adrenal glands. Your epinephrine is what counters histamine and leukotrienes. You also find that it's going to build up corticosteroids, which are anti-inflammatory and immune modulating. So you find that it will help with allergic responses. Sterols also have another benefit where it goes back to heart disease, but they bind cholesterol very, very tightly and prevent it from being absorbed by the body. So if you take yucca with your diet, it will prevent the absorption of cholesterol taken through the diet, but also prevents the reabsorption of cholesterol released in the bile salts into the intestines. So it helps to maintain proper cholesterol levels. Now, the binding of the cholesterol is not just associated with heart disease. A lot of people don't realize that things like cancer cells in particular and a lot of pathogenic microbes have a lot of cholesterol in their cell membranes. And because of this, the sterols can bind those and rip those cholesterol molecules out of there, destroying, or what they call lysing, the cell. So they found that the yucca does have anti-carcinogenic effects and has anti-parasitical, anti-protozoal, and antibacterial, antiviral, antifungal effects. And again, this goes back to the binding of the cholesterol from the cell membranes. In the case of yeast, it would be cell walls. But the other area I want to talk about are what we call still beans. Now, still beans, I'm sure you haven't heard of that name, but under the name resveratrol, you've probably heard of it in the news lately. Resveratrol is the big thing being talked about as an anti-aging type drug. They found that it helps with the body's replication, cellular replication to get proper instead of having these little mutations occur with the replication of cells. They also found that the resveratrol has strong antioxidant, anti-inflammatory properties. And the yucca's got a fairly high level of the resveratrol, as well as there's another compound in there with a big long chemical name, but it's actually a resveratrol analog. And it's interesting, in the research found on Medline, they found that this resveratrol analog is actually stronger than resveratrol itself in helping to fight things such as cancer.